Flat Earthers are a fringe group and few people believe in them. Flat Earthers are a fringe group and few people believe in them. Well, part of the reason I do this is because Flat Earthers are intentionally targeting kids. Your kids, if you have any. My next video on Flat Earth Dave covers a time when he gave a Flat Earth presentation to multiple classes of high schoolers.
Hey, Dave.
Hey there.
Hey, before I introduce you, I just want to give you a quick heads up. About 40 minutes ago, I got a notification of an update that my laptop requires. I ignored it and pushed it off, but in this rare case that the laptop takes over and all of a sudden we drop off, I have a co-teacher and his laptop's ready to go. So if we disappear,
I'll
we
sit and
will
wait.
reappear. We'll reappear within 30 seconds and we can pick up where we left off.
All right. And what time do we have to stop? What's the hard stop?
Yeah, so this first period ends. I'm blanking on it. It is. Sorry, we're on a modified bell schedule, so we will be done at 12:06 for this first period, and then 12:55 for the second.
All right. Am I ready? Am I
Yeah,
unleashed?
so I'm just gonna go ahead and introduce you,
Okay.
and then the floor will be yours. Students have been requesting hearing from someone advocating for a flat Earth or arguing that the Earth is flat. And so we have been lucky enough to land a session with Dave Weiss of the Flat Earth Podcast and of flatearthdave.com. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and give him the floor and he will chat with y'all. Dave, thanks for being here.
All right. Thanks for having me. As you said, my name is David Weiss. I'm from Connecticut. And what I want to tell you is don't believe anything I say. You need to verify everything. Belief is the enemy of knowing. Okay. So if you have a belief, like reading a textbook, you now have a belief, but you don't know it until you go verify it yourself. So here we go. I'm going to feed you like a fire hose. I'm going to go as fast as I can. Hopefully, I'll have some time at the end to go over stuff. But I offer, if you guys, when this is all over, both classes, if you guys want to do a private Zoom, I'm happy to talk to you guys for hours on end and answer all of your questions. All right. So here we go. So conspiracy is when two or more people get together and conspire for their own beliefs. Now, people say, I don't believe in conspiracy theories, right? Well, a theory is just, you have an idea with no proof. That's a theory. But a conspiracy happens all the time. There's people in your life, friends, family, boyfriends, girlfriends that'll betray you. And if to think that government officials and other people won't conspire for their own benefit is naive. Okay. Education, unfortunately, no offense, teacher, is indoctrination. Okay. They'll teach you algebra, calculus, and accounting, but they will never teach you about, say, or most likely won't go deeply into sacred geometry and vortex mathematics. They'll teach you about Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Edison, but they'll leave out Nikola Tesla and free energy technology. They'll teach you, they will tell you about the Wild West and the gold rush, but they never tell you about the advanced civilization that was here long before the 1800s. They'll just tell you the story, but they won't show you stuff like this that was built in the 1700s. Okay. They won't show you this. They'll tell you about dinosaurs and cavemen, but they'll never tell you about the worldwide mud floods and giants. These are not conspiracy theories. These are proof, things that you can see in your own town everywhere, right? There was a worldwide mud flood that buried most of this realm, and it's discoverable everywhere in every town. Okay. And there were giants among us. There's still videos of giants, but they won't show you that in school. They'll teach you about how to memorize and regurgitate from the Rockefeller funded textbooks. And the Rockefellers are the ones that say, we don't want a nation of thinkers. We want a nation of workers. Okay. They started the education, the curriculum in 1903, I think it says. And they literally want to control the masses and not have you thinking for yourself. So let's get into it. This is not flat Earth. Nobody thinks that we're a disk floating in space and other planets around. This is what's called a false dichotomy. False globes and a false flat Earth. The flat Earth is not a disk floating in space. Nobody thinks that that is a flat Earth researcher. This is flat Earth. This is the balloon we sent up to 127,000 feet. Okay, the Earth is supposedly spinning 1,000 miles an hour below us. 3.5 hours it was up there, so it should have spinning to the east. It should have landed 3,000 miles out into the ocean, but it didn't. It landed east of where it took off. So somehow it went up, it outran the spin of the Earth, and it landed in front of the spin. You can see this sun is not 93 million miles away like they tell you. It's local light. It's lighting up this area right here. So what is the sun? That's a whole nother discussion. Okay. In the heliocentric system, that's your system. You believe you're on a ball. When you watch the sunset, you're falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound. You're orbiting in an elliptical path. That's a curving path, not a straight line. Okay. Around the sun at 66,600 miles an hour. Funny number. You're chasing the sun at over close to 500,000 miles an hour. And somehow everything works like a perfect clock. The finest watches in the world are not more accurate than the sky clock. The sky clock is the clock. It is the measure of time. So to believe that you live there is a radical thought. This is NASA's hypersonic sled track. It's a rocket sled. Watch it go by. You can't even see it. It goes by at Mach 8.6. That's 8.6 times the speed of sound. Okay. And you have to believe, if you believe you live in a heliocentric system, that we're on a rock surrounded by water, surrounded by air, adjacent to a vacuum, a void of space, which is scientifically impossible. We'll get to that. And we're going in 4 different motions at once at speeds that you can't even comprehend. We're orbiting 10 times faster than this. We're chasing the sun at 100 times faster than this. But when we go out into nature, our common sense tells us something different. This is water. Okay. Water, large bodies of water at rest lie flat. Water needs containment. Anything bigger than a gallon of water needs containment. Okay. If you try to take a bath and the side of the bathtub's there, or the side of the pond is there when you go for a swim, the water is not going to stay. Water needs containment, right? So large bodies of water at rest lie flat. And that's just the way it is. Okay. I'm jumping all over because I was going through your questions. This is about curvature. You can see the curvature from an airplane. That's absolutely not true. And Neil deGrasse Tyson, the high priest of scientism, he says, they said, well, you can see, flat earthers are dumb. You can see it from a plane. And we showed them, we sent a balloon up, as I showed you earlier, 127,000 feet, no curvature, flat, no spin, no nothing, right? Here's an airplane flying from Cleveland from Cali to Cleveland. There's over 500 miles of drop on his flight, but he experienced none of it. 500 miles of drop. He's flying over a flat plane. That's because airplanes fly over a flat, non-rotating plane. Why do we think we see a circle? It's because of indoctrination. The way we see in the same distance in all ways. The sky and the ground, or the ceiling and the floor over distance, will meet together. That forms a horizontal line at your eye level. I call it the horizontal eye zone. Okay. And if you draw a line across the limit of your vision, you see a curve, and your programming tells you that you see that you're on a sphere, and that's it. That's the horizon. Okay. So here, whenever you watch a NASA rocket or a SpaceX or anything, there's edit. There's like 5 edits before it clears the launch pad. And then they're literally showing you CGI within 30 seconds. But this is the Go Fast rocket. It was the amateur rocket. It went up 72 miles with an uninterrupted feed. Now it's spinning around really fast. And all of a sudden it went kerplunk. It went in to hit something. All of its momentum stopped. All of its spinning stopped. It went into something like plasma. Okay. And we're like, well, what the heck is going on with this thing? Right. This is hard to find, but all of this stuff is on my website. Right. But more interesting, when it showed, the horizon looks pretty flat, but this isn't more interesting. The moon. We saw the moon. So why is that more interesting? Okay. Because it was like 11 o'clock in the morning. It went off in Arizona. The sun's right over here. This time zone is 12. This is 11. This is 10. Okay. Right. So the sun was there and the moon was over Australia. Okay. So this is the Earth. That rocket was a fraction of a millimeter above the Earth, and the moon was below the Earth. Okay. So how could we possibly see the moon? It's impossible. That there alone should tell you, okay, they're lying to us about what the Earth is, right? What about pictures of planets? Okay. This is the 2014 image. NASA doesn't even call it a photograph because NASA doesn't like to lie. This is an image. It's a painting of Jupiter, but they tell us this was shot by the Voyager, I believe. And then 2 years later, they said, hey, we got another shot of Jupiter, and we could tell that it has a magnetic core because we see the northern lights. This is an actual photo from NASA. But if you look at it, all of the clouds are exactly the same, right? It's just a little darker, this one. So listen, you could do this in any paint program. I mean, it's so simple. They're showing us this and they're claiming it is new. People say, well, the clouds move very slow. Unfortunately, they showed us a time lapse over a couple of days of the Voyager heading towards Jupiter. And we could see that all of these clouds, this giant storm that's bigger than the Earth, ridiculous, is spinning. So you can't have the same exact cloud. So again, we just caught NASA lying. They're liars. Okay. So once they're lying, does that make me a radical, or does that make anyone else that believes them naive? Right. Then people say, well, Mercury is the most perfectly round planet. Well, this is what NASA shows us. This is what our optics today. We have consumer optics now that can zoom in on things and see things. This is what Mercury looks like. I don't think Mercury is terra firma. I think it's an energy. It's a light source, and that's a whole nother discussion. If you guys want to have that, we'll have that at another time. This is a zoom in of Mars. But, this is what Mars actually looks like. What is that? Is that a dusty, dirty ball that a rover's on? We could do a whole show on the rover. Okay. That's Mars. All right. That's not a conspiracy. That's actually Mars. Here's the star Sirius. When you zoom in on this thing, what's going on here? What is this? I'm not claiming to know. I'm claiming this isn't a burning ball of gas, which is scientifically impossible in a space vacuum. That's hundreds of trillions of miles away. And the last one here is Venus. Okay. What's going on here? Right now, we can have long discussions about this, but Venus and Mars and Mercury are not rocky balls. We can't compare Earth to Earth, the terra firma, to the lights in the sky. Right. And no scientist has seen nothing other than a star as a pixel of light in the sky. That's it. And they make up all of these crazy stories. Right. Here's another one. NASA took this beautiful picture of Saturn. You've seen it in all your textbooks. This is the #1 picture. But we took it off of their website, put it in Photoshop, cranked up the levels. And if you know anything, this is put together in pieces. This is put together by an artist, different layers overlapping. They didn't expect us to be able to, when they put that up, to have Photoshop and go in. So does that make me a radical, or does that make me somebody that's holding science's feet to the fire? NASA shows us these beautiful, pretty balls. Our modern optics show us something completely different. Okay, so here we go. I'm still going. Somebody said planets form by pieces bumping in together and then getting big enough where they start their own gravity and pull other pieces in. So if you know anything about all gases violently fill the available space. So I'm in a room. It's got, the air in your room is, they say 14 pounds per square inch of pressure. So you're in a pressurized system. Pressure needs a container. You can't have pressure without a container. So if I had a box, a glass box, and I sucked all the air out of it, so it's now a vacuum chamber, there's no pressure in there, and I opened up a valve on the bottom, it's going to suck air instantly, violently from the ground up into the box. So why doesn't space suck the air off of the Earth? And you're going to say gravity. But the other thing I want to get at, they say after the Big Bang, the rocks stuck together and formed planets, and the gases somehow, instead of filling the available space, they decided to collapse in on each other and create burning balls of hydrogen that never burn out. They tell us that Jupiter has more gravity than the rest of the planets in our solar system. But Jupiter, they also tell us, is made of 99% hydrogen and helium, which defy gravity here on Earth. So how much hydrogen and helium that defies gravity do you need to create more gravity in the other planets? They're telling you stories with zero evidence. It's called pseudoscience. Okay. Here is a SpaceX rocket. Okay. It went up. This is it's the landing. This thing is landing. It's just falling out of the sky and landing on this raft 800 miles off the coast of Florida, and nobody's ever there. And we watch it over here. What's this box? What is this? Right. We have 100 examples, right? Here, back it up a little bit. Here it comes down. This is showing you that this is complete CGI, absolute garbage. No one ever gets to witness a landing like this, right? This box shows you that they're fooling. I have a whole section on that. And if you remember Elon Musk, our savior for Twitter and our free speech, I'm not sure if you're aware of that whole thing that's going on. He launched his Tesla into space, and he's like, look at this beautiful view. This is the Earth. The problem here is this is only 170 miles up. The space station is 250 miles up. It's higher. Space station is significantly higher, and they say they can barely see the curve. Okay, so wait a minute. The space station's higher. They should be able to see the whole ball. They can only see a little curve, and that's because they're using fisheye lenses, and they're showing us CGI, so they can't even get their story right. The fact that they saw this whole globe, right? It shows you that this is a deception, absolute 100% deception. If you look into it, you can do a whole show on that. Okay. Here is another SpaceX launch. I'm just going to fast forward to it. It goes up. There's all sorts. Now they always show you the beautiful curve, right? And then the rocket separates, and we have they give us, this is falling back to Earth. Now look how high it is. You can supposedly see the curve. Now watch the curve here. Here's the curved Earth. Amazing. This is a stage. This is the second stage going up. This is falling down. These little milk crates are going to steer it. Now up at 40,000 feet, there's 300-mile-an-hour winds. The ocean has currents. This thing is going to fall out of the sky, weighing weighing tens of tons, and land on a raft with nobody around, only steered by these little things. Okay. Curved Earth, right? And then watch, it switches cameras, and and flat Earth, right? Every time it switches, it goes curved Earth, flat Earth, right? It even goes concave at one point. Okay, curved Earth, flat Earth. Now, this thing is still way higher than any airplane as it ever goes, okay? Curved Earth, flat Earth. I'm just jumping forward to save time. And all of a sudden, this thing is going to land. It's going to fall through the sky, and it's going to land on a drone ship. I want to get to that. Look, concave. That, I would say that is even, it's got a little bit of a scoop to it. So again, they're showing you deception here. To say you saw the curve of the Earth is deceitful. Okay, so here it comes. It's falling. It finds the raft. Amazingly, it lined up there. Right? Talk to any engineer. They'll tell you this is impossible. And it lands on this raft. Absolute and total mockery of the human mind. Right? So people say, well, why are everything round in space? It's the way our eyes work. Everything is round. Is this the sun or the moon on the horizon? And the answer is it's neither. Okay, but it sure looks spherical. Right? And if we move it forward, we can see that it's a train. And it doesn't even have round lights on it. Okay, everything goes to a point and looks like a sphere, right? And I could show you 100 things on that where where it'll just show you that. People say, what about the shadow of the moon? So supposedly a lunar eclipse is when the Earth gets in between the sun and the moon and puts a shadow on the moon, and it puts a nice crisp shadow. You can't cast a shadow at a great distance like that and have it be sharp at all. Get a basketball at noon, put it on the ground, look at the shadow, lift it 10 feet in the air, the shadow's gone. Okay? Or it's, with a single source light projected on a wall, see how far away from the wall you can get before the entire shadow disappears. But somehow there's a shadow on the moon, right? So here it is. If you're standing here on the top of the Earth, you can see the sun above your horizon and the moon above your horizon. The eclipse can't start because we're not in between yet. But as the moon, or as they get into alignment, it comes in and the shadow comes in from the bottom, just like that. Okay. But unfortunately, there's a thing called the Seleninian eclipse. Over 50 of them. One of them just last year has been documented, where the observer can see the sun and the moon above the horizon and the eclipse starts. That's impossible. And also the eclipse comes in from the top. Okay. So what causes that? Great question. We can talk about that all day. We can speculate all day, but we don't know. Right? We have some good ideas, but one thing we can say, it's not the Earth, because the Earth would need to be in between. It would also need to be coming in from the top if the shadow's coming in from the top. Okay. And then, science loves to straw man us by saying, look, if the Earth was flat, it would look like this. No one thinks we're a disk in space, but why does science constantly have to straw man us and make fun? They literally mock us for things that we don't believe. Here's the thing on perception, and I'm going to show you about how the sun sets and how we can have day and night on the Earth. So this camera is looking across the Earth. That's what you would think, right? But I tricked you here, because if I take away this and I show you that it's actually a building and I'm looking up, okay? So the camera's looking straight up, but your perception didn't know that. Now you know, okay, a building, this is the guy looking up, there's the sun. Now the sun moves away and it goes beyond this. Now your common sense knows that the sun isn't below the horizon, it's just beyond the building. The building's blocking it. Okay. So how could you see the sun again? You have two ways. You can go up high and you'll see the sun again, or you can go backwards a couple of miles, or maybe not even that far, a couple 100 yards, and you'll be able to see over the building because you'll have a better perspective, because that building will get smaller and smaller. Okay. So here's how that works. Here's your perspective grid, right? And here's a guy standing here. This line is his eye level. And this is just how we see the sides come in, the ground and the bottom, everything meets at eye level. And we go from there. So if I put this mountain here, this mountaintop is thousands of feet above his head, and the sun is above that. Okay. Now the sun's just going to go just like the sun did with the building. It's beyond that mountain. It's not below the horizon. It's just beyond where he can see. If he went up higher or back farther, he'd be able to see the sun again. So let's move him back farther, and the mountain will get smaller and smaller. We'll fill it in. And so now we can see the sun again, because that mountain, due to perspective, is lower. Now, the top of this mountain right here, which is at his apparent eye level, is thousands of feet above his eye level, but it looks like it's at his eye level, his horizontal eye zone. So the sun will go away and it just goes beyond the mountain again. But your globe programming tells you it went below a physical Earth. Now, if we add the clouds, these clouds are way above the mountain, and they all merge into the horizontal eye zone. Also, if there were no clouds, the atmosphere becomes opaque over distance. I'll show you in a moment. So the sun goes away. It's going beyond this horizontal eye zone. This line here of the mountains are thousands of feet above his eyes. The clouds here are thousands of feet above the mountain, but everything looks like it's at eye level. That's why you have the illusion of the sun setting below the earth, okay? So here is just a time lapse of the sun, or the moon going away. Is that the sun or the moon? I think it's the moon, okay? It's moon's going away, and this is called terrestrial perspective, okay? So right here, I have this line. This line looks like it's going down. This line is level, and this is the sun, right? This is a terrestrial view of this line. This is a celestial view. I have it up at the height of the line of the same line. This level line looks like it's going down. This sun looks like it's going down because it's going away. Just like this, it's going away. This is above the camera level, but it looks like it's at eye level. Here's that object right there. So the sun goes down right there, right? So let me just jump back. So this is going behind what I call the atmospheric deck of opacity. It's not a theory. It's actually scientifically provable. And I have tons of videos showing that. On a clear, cold winter day, I put my drone up. It was super clear. And I'm watching the sun. And the sun went, down, 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 down. Now, if the earth was spinning, it would keep on going, but it didn't. It stopped and it sat here. This is sped up 2,500 speed. My friends are down at the beach over here. They said they saw the sunset from the bottom up already, but I'm just watching the sun with its local light get attenuated into the atmosphere and take its light with it. The sun is a local light. Light doesn't travel forever. That's another myth that you've been taught, and it just takes its light away. We live stream this. We recorded it 7 times. And the reason you haven't seen it is because you haven't put a 4K camera up on a drone on a freezing cold day and filmed it after you think the sun was gone and then zoomed in and looked at what was really happening. Okay. Here is, this is just me. I'm on the water. I'm on a boat. Now, mind you, this building is 45 stories tall. These mountains here are thousands of feet above my head, thousands. And the sun is just going away due to perspective, and it goes beyond the mountains. It's going beyond the mountains, and it's taking its light away. It's not going below a ball earth or a flat earth. That's a false model of flat earth. And here's another one, just shows you the attenuation of light. Light doesn't go forever. It fades out. And the sun's light is the brightest light. It'll go the farthest, but this light just goes, the sun just goes away and takes its light with it, okay? Are you falling over backwards, or is the sun just going away as you see it and taking its light with it? It's already dark over here and the sun's still in the sky. It's not the earth that causes night. It's the distance of the sun, okay? And one more. This was filmed by a soldier in Afghanistan, super clear, super dry, no humidity in the air. And the sun is just sitting there, kind of going away, getting smaller and smaller. Paul McCartney from the Beatles, he's singing, "The Fool on the Hill sees the sun going down, but the eyes in his head see the world spinning round." Okay. Now we're off to gravity. Whoops. What did I just do there? Gravity. Flat earthers are absolutely crazy because we think down is this way for everybody. Okay. We think down is this way for everybody. Globe earthers, they know that everything goes towards the center of the earth. The one molecule at the center says, "I'm the center, everything come to me." And all of the other molecules throughout the earth, nobody says, "Come to me." They all have to go towards the center. That's ridiculous. Think about it, right? These people are all down is down, towards the center. And while it's spinning, that's absolute insanity. Okay. So I saw that already. Sorry. So how does gravity work? Our world is an electrical system. Everything in this world has an electrostatic charge. The sun and the moon are the anode and the cathode. The salt water carries the current. The land is the salt bridge. If you've done your chemistry, that is a battery. Okay. So how can we test this? Right. So here we had some leftover party balloons, and we tied them to this. There's a little button on the end here, and it's floating a couple inches above the floor. This wire goes to a Van de Graaff generator, and we're going to add a positive charge to it. Now, the earth itself has a neutral or negative charge, and everything above the earth is a positive charge. We add a positive charge to this, and all of a sudden it goes down. Did we make it heavier? Did we make it more attracted to the earth? Is it gravity or electrostatics that are pulling it down? Discharge it, it goes up. What about the opposite of that? And you can just look this up on YouTube, tinfoil triangle. We put a negative charge into it. If we put the negative charge into it and keep it on, it goes up. Are we defying gravity, or are we defying electrostatics, right? And the last thing is, on gravity, is this is from MIT. This is called the Silent Drone. Okay, it's using electrostatics to fly. It's got no moving parts. They say it's an ionic wind. It's because it's electrostatically being repelled from the Earth. This is the true propulsion that they're hiding from us. Okay, they don't want us to know about this because this is free energy. You can get free energy technology. So they don't want us to know this. Silent flying drones that would never have to land and aircraft. Insanity. So the science tells us that the electrostatic charge is 10 to the 26 power. That's 10 with 26 zeros, stronger than gravity. So you guys cannot fathom what that is. If I punched you, Jonathan, if I punched you in the shoulder, friendly punch, you'd be like, ouch. And if I did it 10 times harder, you might be mad. If I did it 100 times harder, it'd probably knock you on the floor. 1,000 times harder, it might kill you. 10,000, 100,000, a million times harder, it would probably send you through the floor and into the ground. A billion times harder, can't even fathom that. A trillion times harder, you can't even figure that. That's 10 to the 12th. Okay. They tell us that the electrostatic force is 10 to the 26 power stronger than gravity. What are they telling us? They're telling us that gravity does not exist. Because if gravity was 10 to the 26 less than the electrostatic force, and I had a 50-pound weight and I let it go, it would stay there. It wouldn't move for a million years because there's not enough force to move it. Okay. So that's a whole nother thing we can talk about. Time zones you guys talk about. So time zones are from the North Pole to the South Pole on the globe. You draw 24 lines, and as the Earth spins, you have all your different time zones. When the sun's here, it's noon, 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 right? And the sun spins. The problem is they say that the sun's coming in. Here's our time zone, right? So we got all our time zones. The problem is they say that the Earth is tilted. Okay, so when you tilt the Earth, the time zones don't work because you got time zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 7 time zones different than this. Okay. All right. And that doesn't work. When you light up a ball, when you put a single light on a ball, so you got a ball, you're in a dark room and you put light on it, the light, no matter how you spin it or tilt it, will always get exactly half of the ball. So if you lived on a ball, it would have to be half of the ball lit at all times. Okay. So here's the flat Earth map. It's the Gleason's map. It was in all the schools, all the libraries until the 1950s when the Rockefellers had it removed. And we got a light on it. It's kind of dark over here, light over here, dark over here, right? You'd think you'd be able to see the light, but you can't, as I showed you with perspective and atmosphere and stuff. But I'm showing you there's a day on July 8th. I think it's July 8th. This is time and date. That's on the Weather Channel. They reported every July 8th that 99% of the world's population, that's not the world, is in some form of daylight at the same time, which is over 70% of the Earth has daylight. That's impossible on a globe, right? If that was true, if the Earth was a globe, all of this area here that I circled would be in darkness, but it's not. It's not. So we have areas we can show you that the light is lighting up. According to the globe, over 70% of it, that's impossible if the Earth is a globe. Impossible, okay? And this is just a little demonstration. I got a glass dome here, and I'm moving an external light, and then once you understand the flat Earth model, you can see, and this is time and date on a flat Earth map, okay? This is going throughout the year. So this is January here, or December, and then when it goes back the other way, that would be June. This is the equinox right here where the light's half, and I'm moving the light here. It's kind of mimicking these things. So there is a similarity between this. And again, we've done many shows on how that works. Here's just another example. We got a little map. We put a dome over it, and we circle a light source above it, and you have your day and night. So there you go. And then this is not a theory. The globe describes their coordinate system. We see what's called through an azimuthal grid of vision. We all see in a certain distance in all directions. So that creates a dome of vision. As far as you can see in all directions, creates a dome, right? And so this is a light optics program, and we're moving a source light, and this is everyone's dome of vision. So if this is the east and this is the west, so Connecticut and California, look, it's sunset here already, and it's noon here, and it's early afternoon here. So as the sun moves, this is the sun, this point of light that appears inside. These are your time zones. This is how time zones work, okay? And again, that's something you have to look farther into. The optics of the sky are no way to prove the shape of the Earth, but this is a way to prove that NASA's lying. Here is the United States, okay? Here's South America. Where's the rest? Where's the rest of the world? Oh, it must be on the other side. Let's take a look. So here's a world map. Let me move this a little bit. Here's a world map. This is supposedly all of the continents, right? And let's put that right in so we're matching everything that's visible. So you have to believe that all of this land, all of this is on the other side of the ball. Okay? If you can't see the problem with that, I'm not sure I could help you. Okay? I'm the radical? I don't think so. Okay? And then there's another shot that NASA has that shows Africa, and then everything else is missing, right? They can't make it look realistic and in different shots and compare it. And here's another thing. They tell you that, our maps are projections and the Mercator map. They say this is the map that they show you in school, but these dark sizes are the actual size of the continents, okay? These dark ones are the actual size. Greenland, they say, is much smaller, but it shows it gigantic on the map, okay? But if you take all of these dark sizes, the actual sizes, they all fit on the flat Earth map. They kind of match exactly what's on the flat Earth map. Again, just something weird there. I don't know. So here is a picture, a photograph of, I don't know who this guy is. We know who this is. And this is Morgan Freeman, right? Which one of these is a painting? Okay. Which one of those is a painting? And the answer is they're all paintings. Okay. They're all paintings, but how would you know? Okay. Is this a painting or a photograph? Right? Look at the glass and the reflection and everything. This is a painting. Okay. This is called a photorealistic painting. So to believe that somebody couldn't paint this in whenever this was, what was this? This was like 2017. I forget when the blue marble came out, was one that was on everyone's iPhone, right? This is a painting. This is a painting. Deal with it. Okay. NASA admits they don't have any photographs of Earth. Check it out. They never say photograph. 2012, 2013, what happened to the United States? It went from this big to this big. Now you can say, oh, well, it's a different angle. The balls are the same size. It should not be the case, but we can do things. We can actually look, right? Here's another one. The 2012 photo. Look how big America got. Okay. It should be smaller too. If you're looking at my hand and I rotate it back, it gets smaller, right? Why did it get bigger? Right? Why did it get bigger? So here's one that affected me, a long time ago. 1978. Look at the beautiful, beautiful Earth. And in 2017, look at the pollution. Oh my God, we're polluting the Earth. It's so horrible. We're the global dimming problem. Look at the clouds. They never changed. Okay. They're too lazy or they're poking us in the eye. Now, people say, well, why would NASA do that? Why would NASA do that? I don't know why they would do it. Okay. I have a lot of theories, but they did it. Okay. So this is two photos from NASA with the exact same clouds years apart. NASA's lying. Okay. You catch them once, they're lying. These are pictures all from NASA. Which one do you want to call your Earth? Okay. I'm the radical because I say there's no photos of Earth, right? But here's one that we can actually test. Here's the one, the 2002. So here's Mexico, to Baja. We can actually drive across Mexico and measure and find out it is 934 miles. That we can verify. Believe nothing, verify everything. They tell us that the radius of the Earth, the diameter, circumference, diameter. So from one end to the other is 7,917 miles. I should be able to fit 8.5 of these in between here. Okay, 8.5 doesn't even fit on this page. I can't even. It goes all the way over. Okay, so something's wrong. Something wrong. I'm measuring their thing on their globe. This is provably a painting. If you don't see it, feel free to just ignore everything else I say. Okay. Boats over the horizon. Okay. There's no boat out here. As we zoom in, just feet off the water. And all of a sudden, oh, wait a minute. There are boats out there. And you watch, there's waves. This wave in the future, in the foreground are way bigger and they're hiding the boat. Watch this boat. Is this going over the curve of the Earth? Is it behind the curve of the Earth? Or is it just behind what I call the wave front edge? Okay. And I have hundreds of videos on this, hundreds. And you can do it yourself. This is the one that got me. I was like, I live on the water. It's like when I first heard about flat Earth, I'm like, this is ridiculous. And I bought a $1,000 camera, went out and zoomed in on things that should be 60, 70 feet below the curve. And I could see them. They're there. The ball requires you to have a physical curve at a certain distance. It could always be closer, your horizon, due to atmosphere and waves, but under perfect conditions, you can't see farther than the physical limitations of the ball, right? So people say, well, boats disappear. Here, watch here. You don't see any boat, okay? And now as we zoom in, there's no boat, right? As we zoom in, we're just increasing our angular size. And as we increase it, we see, oh, there is a boat there, okay? Your eye can only resolve something that's 0.002 degrees, okay? Another thing they don't teach in school, all right? My finger can't hide my face, right? This little wave can't hide boat, but wait a minute, the waves in the foreground can. My finger can hide my face if I'm right there, okay? So these little waves in the foreground are hiding complete city skylines behind them, right? So here's a measurement, as I said, this is cool. We call this the black swan. And we have a camera literally less than a foot off the water. At 1 foot off the water, the horizon, the geometry, the globe geometry should have the horizon at 1.22 miles away. 1.2 miles away, you shouldn't be able to see the surface of the water anymore, okay? We know how far these are. These are not moving. So we know that this is 9.4 miles, 6.2 miles, okay? At 9.4 miles, 1 foot off the ground, there should be 59 feet of curvature. This is globe math. This isn't flat earth math, globe math. 59 feet of curvature. Not only can we see the rig, we can see the water for dozens of miles behind it. Okay. The earth is flat. There is no curvature. Every test for curvature, every test for axial rotation has proven the opposite. Okay. So going back to gravity. So people, someone said about the sun pulling the orbit of the earth, right? We got a gassy ball in a space vacuum. Physically impossible. You can't have gas in a vacuum, right? It's holding on to the earth, but the earth is holding on to the moon. And how come the sun doesn't pull the moon away? When the moon is coming around the earth towards the sun, how come it doesn't pull it faster? And when it's going back away from the sun, how come it doesn't slow it down, right? The moon does its perfect orbit around the earth. The earth goes around the sun perfectly. This is called the three-body problem. The best supercomputers in the world cannot figure out the three-body problem. This is three equal masses, and you put them in there. They all have their gravity, and they're going around, and then their gravities tug on each other, and within no time, it goes into what I call chaos mode, and no computer can figure out what it's going to do next. No supercomputer can figure out three items, but we have planetary alignments, stars, everything. Everything goes on a perfect cycle. Eclipses, which are impossible. The sun is 400 times bigger than the moon, 400 times farther away, and it looks like the same size, and then they line up and they eclipse each other. The odds of that are 0.00000, maybe 1, and happening a second time are greater. But the thing is, eclipses happen all the time. There's one coming up, actually, and they repeat every 18 years. The entire cycle repeats like a fine clock, okay? That's weird, right? So somebody said, the gravity on the earth is the same throughout the planet, which means there's one equal force pulling everyone towards the center, making it round. That's not true. The flat earth doesn't have gravity. It's electrostatics, okay? And during lightning storms, things fall at different rates. And when lightning strikes right next to somebody, that person goes flying in the air many times. That's because the lightning is changing for a split second the charge of the ground, and you're electrostatically repelled away. Okay, it's not because of gravity. Gravity is 96% made up dark matter and dark energy. Now, this is what you have to believe airplanes do. Okay, but it's far worse than this. Airplanes are flying over the Earth plane. I'm gonna wrap it up shortly, and so that is crazy. But this is actually what they're doing, because you got to remember the Earth is spinning. So you have to believe that the airplanes are somehow matching the speeds of the Earth. The Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour right here, at 500 miles an hour right here, at 200 miles an hour right here, because it's making a smaller circle. And somehow this plane can compensate for all of that. You haven't thought it through if you believe that. Okay. So here's the last thing I think. Maybe I'll go a little bit longer. So if a plane is flying over the curve of the Earth, the stars in the background would rise up. This is a fact. This is a geometric fact of what you would see. Okay. And here is a time lapse from Berlin in the north all the way to Brazil, and the stars do not process up. They're not processed up. This is a time lapse. Okay. And the stars aren't processing up. Wait, we're flying over a ball. They should process up. They're not, right? Google Earth simulation says this is what you should see. The stars should suppress up because you're diving over the ball, right? And reality says otherwise. You didn't get that. This is what it is. Pilot looks forward. He sees these stars. He flies, right? He looks forward. He sees different stars. These stars are now over his head. right? That's not what reality shows. Okay, reality shows that they're flying underneath the stars, right? Somebody said, what about flying from Alaska to China? Alaska, China. Very easy, very easy. And while we're at it, here is Pearl Harbor, Japan to Hawaii. Okay, if you look online, you'll see crazy against straw man memes, sending people different directions. And then Southern flight routes. This is the one that'll get you. The Southern flight route section on my app, on my page, flatearthdave.com. From Johannesburg, South Africa to Melbourne, Australia, they go all the way up to Dubai and down, or all the way to Hong Kong, or all the way to Malaysia and down. Why do they do that? Right? But if you look at it on a flat Earth map, these are the same flight routes, kind of like a straight line, little stopovers. It's a long flight, but this is where they're going. They're not going out of the way. This is insane to believe that this is the world we live in. But if you believe it, I don't know if I could help you. Here's another one. This one goes from Sydney to Lima, Peru. It goes all the way up to Los Angeles and all the way down. But look at it. It's a straight line on a flat Earth map. Tons and tons and tons of examples of this. One more. This is one that I should have started with this. This is a view from a mountain where the air is clear, and we could see all of these mountaintops over here. There's 8 of them, and they're over 700 miles away. According to Globe Math, the tops of those mountains, we can see the whole mountain. The tops of the mountain should be over 40 miles below a physical curve. Mainstream science will not even discuss this with us because there's no explanation. We can see far. I'm the radical. I'm holding science's feet to the fire, and there's nothing you could do about it. And then one more on light is, so out here is, this is a view of Mount Canigou from Aluja, France. You can't see it because the light that's bouncing off of Mount Canigou 175 miles away can't push through the thickness of the atmosphere. So you don't see it, right? And the top of the mountain should be over half a mile below the curve at that distance from this altitude, right? So you think this is Earth curvature, but if we look, as the sun goes away, the sun's light is powerful enough, and when it goes beyond it, it backlights it, and you can see the entire mountain. This top should be over half a mile below a physical curve. I'm showing you how light attenuates through the atmosphere. There you go. So last thing, I'll try to get to it. I know we have one more minute, or this is Antarctica. They tell us it's 13,000 miles around. That's not Antarctica. Antarctica is the shoreline of our world. Okay, it goes. The last person to try to circumnavigate Antarctica went 68,000 miles. Remember, the equator, which is right here, is only 24,000, 25,000. So they went 68,000 miles. Antarctica is the shoreline of our world, and it holds our water in. And this is, this is them strawmanning us again with the fake Earth. This is the shoreline of Antarctica. What's out there in the outer space? The outer space. Okay, this is a ship tracking site. And we found a ship that was inside, 730 miles inside. Found another one that was 905 miles inside. That's almost in the center of Antarctica. How did the ship get there? Okay. So if you look at it on this map that was found in a Buddhist temple, well, maybe they went from here. This is where the ship took off from, and went out here. Whoops. Where is it? Out here. So maybe they're going to visit extra land. If somebody lived on the extra territory out here, you might consider them an extraterrestrial from the outer space here on the flat Earth plane. Almost made it. Oh, I got a little more to go. How much more time do we have? Are we out of time?
Yeah, so our bell actually just rang. So if you have any 30 seconds, final thoughts for this crew.
Final thoughts. Don't believe anything I say. Verify everything. Go to flatearthdave.com. Take the crash course. Free videos there. Or if all of you want to get together and email me, my contacts there, I will do a private Zoom with you guys, and I will answer all of your questions and blow your minds. There you go. flatearthdave.com.
Thank you. Don't know if you were able to pick it up there, but they said thank you.
I heard it.
This crew's going to leave, and then we're going to have a whole new come in, and we'll do it all over again.
Oh, boy.
Awesome. Thank you. Dave, thanks for being here.
Hey, good. What's our stop time on this one?
We go to 12:55.
12:55. All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Dave Weiss. I live in Connecticut, and what I'm going to tell you today is don't believe anything I say. right? Belief is the enemy of knowing. Belief is easy. It takes no effort. You can believe it. You can read your textbook and you can believe it, or you can go out and verify it yourself to make sure that the people that are, putting stuff in textbooks have good intentions, right? You have a belief that I live in Connecticut, but you don't know it. And it would take you time and effort to figure it out. So here we go. And I'm going to fire hose you. So pay attention. And again, I said to the other class, if you guys want to get together and contact me, I'm happy to do a private Zoom and answer all of your questions. I offer 3 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof, so it might be worth your while. So here we go. Conspiracy is when 2 or more people get together to conspire for their own benefit. To believe that conspiracies don't exist is crazy. People in your personal life, people that you love, will betray you during your life, and to think that political leaders won't do that is crazy. Education is indoctrination. They're not teaching you, in most cases, maybe this class are teaching you to think somewhat, but they're telling you stuff, and if you memorize and regurgitate it, you're doing well. They won't teach you about algebra. They'll teach you algebra and calculus and accounting, but they won't never teach you about sacred geometry, vortex mathematics, which are the real math of this world. They'll teach you about Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Edison, and the whole story of that timeline. But they'll leave out Nikola Tesla, or maybe they'll touch upon it, and this free energy technology. Okay. They'll teach you about the Wild West and the gold rush, but they'll never tell you about the advanced civilization that was here long before that. They'll tell you about dinosaurs and cavemen, which again are a whole nother made up lie, but they'll never tell you about the, the worldwide mud flood, we call it, and giants, right? The whole world, or a large portion of it, and it's foreseeable in every town, was buried in mud, we think in the early 1800s. And they had to dig out, and there were giants, and there's still videos of these giants, but they're hard to find. They'll teach you to memorize and regurgitate the Rockefeller-funded textbooks, but the Rockefellers are the ones that says, I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers, okay? And, modern education is creating people smart enough to repeat and regurgitate what they've been told and follow orders, and dumb enough to think that that makes them smarter than everyone else, right? No offense to anybody, but you need to think for yourself, right? When you think about flat Earth, this is what I call a double false binary: false flat Earth, false planets. The fake heliocentric system mixed with a fake flat Earth system makes people laugh at flat Earth. And the question I have is, why do people that report on flat Earth straw man us? This is flat Earth. This is the balloon we sent up, 127,000 feet, right? The Earth is spinning 1,000 miles an hour below me, below this balloon. I'm not in the balloon, okay? And it's spinning to the east. It was up there for 3.5 hours. It should land 3,000 miles out in the ocean, but it didn't. It outran the spin of the Earth, and it landed in front of it. This is a small local sun. It's lighting up a hot spot here. If it was 93 million miles away, like they tell us, that wouldn't have a hot spot like that. In the heliocentric system, you believe you're on a ball and you're falling over backwards when you're watching the sunset at 1,000 miles an hour. And that's what's making the sun appear to go down when it's clearly just going away and setting due to perspective. You're also orbiting at 66,000 miles an hour, chasing the sun at 500,000 miles an hour, and you don't feel any of this. All of these, people say, well, I've been on an airplane, I could drink a glass of water. If you want to just mimic the spin of the Earth, which is the slowest, you have to double the speed of that airplane. You have to remove the outer shell because there's no shell over the Earth. And you have to nosedive down faster than a skydiver with no parachute, okay? That just to follow the curve, right? And that doesn't happen. The SR-71 pilots, that spy plane, it goes so fast that it would have to drop 80 stories every second. 800 feet per second, not to fly off into space, just to follow the curve of the Earth. But they never account for any of that. Okay. This is the hypersonic sled track. It's going by at Mach 8.6. You can't even fathom it. Go look it up on YouTube and you'll hear it. It's shocking. You have to believe, if you believe in the heliocentric system, that you're traveling 10 times faster than that, around the sun in a curved trajectory. Curving is acceleration, and you're chasing the sun at 100 times faster than that. But when you go out into nature, common sense shows you that water at rest is level and flat, and that we're not spinning. And every test for axial rotation shows that we're not moving. Get a dinner plate in a car going any speed you want on the smoothest road, straightest road, fill it up to the edge, and have that car speed up or slow down the tiniest bit or take the tiniest turn, and it will just the water will go out of the plate. Here's a pilot flying from California to Cali to Cleveland. There should be over 500 miles of drop, but all he's doing is flying straight and level. Airplanes fly straight and level over the Earth plane. Again, these little short clips I'm showing you should not convince you. You need to look farther, and you can find all the stuff on my website. Okay, this is how we see, right? This is how we see. Standing here, I see a certain distance in all directions. The sky, the ceiling, and the floor will just come together and create a line at your eye level. That's just how we see. Everything comes to your eye level. That's called your horizontal eye zone. And when you draw a line tangent to that, you see a curve, but your programming tells you you're looking at a sphere, but you can't tell. You can't tell because you're just looking at a circle. Here's the Go Fast rocket. This is an amateur rocket that went up 72 miles, which I believe is the highest we can go. NASA and SpaceX, it's all distraction, but an uninterrupted feed looking down. NASA and SpaceX edit 5, 6, 8 edits before it even clears the tower. And then it turns into CGI within 30 seconds. Okay. But this thing hit something. It went into plasma. It went kerplunk, right? And it was very, very strange. And when it was going, all of a sudden we could see the moon. Right? We saw the moon. Here it comes. Ready? This little dot right there. That's the moon. We zoomed in on it. Earth looks kind of flat. Okay. And this is 72 miles up. So anyone that says we can see the curve from an airplane is not just speaking nonsense. But when we look at it, this is where it was. It took off in Arizona, right? It's like 11 o'clock in the morning. And here's the sun. It's noon over here. And the moon was over here. So if this is the world, that rocket was a fraction of a millimeter above the ball and the moon was below the ball. Okay. So how can we see it if the Earth is a globe? That right there is undeniable proof that the Earth is not a globe, but a lot of people don't want to deal with it. Picture of Jupiter that's in everyone's textbooks, 2014, 2016. They said they took a picture, got the northern lights, which means that it has a magnetic core. That's what they told us. Look at this. This is horrible. And all of the clouds are exactly the same, right? But the NASA will show us this when Voyager was approaching Jupiter over a couple of days or weeks. Oh, look at all the movement of the clouds. And this storm is bigger than the Earth. Okay. These are fantasy stories that you're just told and people just regurgitate them and believe them. Here's Mercury. According to NASA, here's Mercury with today's consumer optics. It's a light. Not sure what it is, right? There's a whole bunch of other. I'm going to jump because I want to go a little farther into this presentation. Here's Venus. Our optics have outgrown their lies. Ask me what Venus is. I don't know. We have a lot of stuff we could speculate, but we don't know. They're lights in the sky. This is the picture that's in everyone's textbook of Saturn, but we took it off of NASA's website, put it into Photoshop, cranked it up, absolutely proved that it's cut and pasted together in Photoshop. This is a made-up image created in Photoshop. It's not a photograph of anything, okay? And there's no denying that. NASA shows us all of this CGI. This is what real-world optics show us when we look at the same planets. The planet is a piece of the plane, okay? People, in the heliocentric model, you believe that this is a story you believe. Once upon a time, there was nothing. It blew up and created everything. That's a cool story, bro. Okay. And then all of the rocks bumped into each other and they started sticking together and they got big enough where they had enough mass to pull in other rocks. And all of the gas, which violently fills the available space, decided to collapse upon itself and create stars that burn forever. Okay. We're in this solar system. Our sun is a burning nuclear furnace, whatever, and it burns like 600 billion tons of fuel every single day, or maybe it's every hour. It's a ridiculous number for billions of years, and its gravity never changes. Okay, why does it gravity? It's burning fuel at that rate. How come it's not changing its gravity? Right. So once you understand how absolutely ridiculous it is, it's unbelievable. SpaceX. Elon Musk sent up his Tesla in space and everyone was amazed because you could see the whole Earth. Problem is he's only up 170 miles and the space station is much, much higher than that. And they can't even see the curve of the Earth, barely, and inconsistently when they do their stuff. Eclipses, a lunar eclipse. Okay. A lunar eclipse is when the sun, the Earth, and the moon get into alignment with each other and the sun casts a shadow on the moon. You can't cast a shadow 250,000 miles or even a mile away, in my opinion, right? Take a basketball and experiment, hold it against the wall, move it away from the wall. How long could you see the shadow? The problem is, though, they have to be in line, right? So here's an eclipse, and they get more in a line, and the eclipse starts, right? We've experienced more than 50 Selenelian eclipses where the sun and the moon were visible from a viewer right here, and they're both above the horizon, the sun and the moon above the horizon, and the eclipse start, and the eclipse came in from the top. Wait, what is that? And the answer is, it's not the Earth. Okay. So if it's not the Earth, what is it? That's a whole nother conversation. Again, they always straw man us. Well, if the Earth was flat, it would look like this. Nobody believes that. Why do they have to lie and make fun of flat Earth? Okay. So here is a picture. Whoops. Get that. Here's looking up at a building. We have the sun, and let's say you're looking up at the building, it's across the street, and the sun is moving away. And when the sun goes beyond the building, your logic tells you the sun is not below the horizon, it's just beyond the building. How could you see the sun again? Well, you could fly up in the air and look at it, or if you walk backwards a couple of miles, you would be able to see it because the building gets smaller. The building gets smaller due to perspective. Let's look at perspective. Okay, this is how we see the sunset on a flat Earth. And I guess it would be the same on a globe Earth, but it would be worse. Here's this guy's eye level, and we drop in a mountain and the sun. This mountain is thousands of feet above his eye level. Easy. The sun's above that. The sun is just going to go follow its line of perspective, and it looks like it goes below the mountains. This guy knows the sun hasn't set. It's just beyond the mountains. If he went up higher or, again, back farther, he'd be able to see it again. So let's take him back farther. We take him back and fill in, and we know logically that this top of the mountain right here, this horizontal line that looks like it's at his eye level, is thousands of feet above his eyes. This is just reality. This isn't a theory. This isn't radicalness. This is just how perspective works, right? And as the sun goes away, it goes beyond it again, right? It just goes beyond it. It's not below it. It's above it. If you went up higher, you'd see the sun again, but everything's merging into the space. Now we add clouds or just the atmospheric deck, and over distance, atmosphere becomes opaque, and the sun will just go beyond it also. So now we have this line here, which is the mountaintop, thousands of feet above his eye line. The clouds have merged into the line, which are thousands of feet above the mountain, and the sun just went beyond it. Okay. It's hard to pull that together, but once you start understanding it, here's a time lapse of the moon. It's just going away. It's not going down. So I'm going to show you terrestrial perspective from on the Earth versus celestial perspective. So we're looking up at this line right here. This is a terrestrial view of this line. It's the same line that's here. Okay, this is a level line, a celestial view. And so this camera is way below this, and this sun never goes below. This is that line right there that it's getting eclipsed on. This is the sun. It's just going away, and it's going behind the atmospheric deck of opacity. Right? I have tons of videos on that. This is the sun fade out video. This is where I put my drone up on a super cold, super clear day, and the sun went down, 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 down. If the Earth was spinning, it would just keep on going, but it didn't. It went down, 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 down. It stopped. My friends were at the beach over here, and they said the sun set from the bottom up 10 minutes ago. I'm still looking at the sun. Okay, what's it doing? It's just sitting here. This is sped up 2,500%. Okay, the sun's just sitting here. Why is it sitting on the horizon? And it's just taking its light with it. The light can no longer push through the atmosphere and let us see the sun. It's just lighting up the sky. So we still have some daylight. There's a whole bunch of things I could show you about that. Here is, this is me on the water. This building is like 40 stories tall. These mountains are higher than the building, but look, they look lower than the building. These mountains are thousands of feet over my head. And that sun is just going to go away, away, away. And it's going beyond the mountain. It's going beyond the mountain. That's it. And I could go up and see it, but it's going so far away that it's going behind the atmospheric deck of opacity, right? Let me just jump forward here. Gravity, for those of you people that are asking about gravity, flat earthers are crazy because we think that down is down for everybody. Down is down. Down is down for everybody. But on your world, down is in all different directions, on a spinning ball, in a scientifically impossible space vacuum. And that just makes absolutely no sense. So what is this world, and why do things go down? Why, when I drop something, does it go down? And you can say it's because of buoyancy and density, but when you drop something, it goes down. What if I snap my fingers and the entire Earth disappeared and I let go of a rock? How does it know which way to go? Well, the Earth is here. The Earth has a negative charge. Okay. We live in this giant electrical system. Everything's electric. You're electric. Everything has an electric charge to it. The sun and the moon are the anode and cathode of the battery. The salt water carries the current. The land is the salt bridge. There's your battery. And the earth is filled with free energy, which again, they don't want you to know about. That's why the lie. Here's a balloon. Here's some party balloons. I got a little button just tied on here and a line that a wire that goes to a Van de Graaff generator. Now we're not going to make the button heavier. We're just going to give it more of a positive charge. And when we give it more of a positive charge, it goes down. Now, did we make it heavier or did we just make it more attracted to the negatively charged earth? We made it more attractive. And if you look at your periodic table, every element that's heavier than the one before has an extra proton. It has another extra positive charge. So, it becomes heavier. And not because of gravity. Gravity is a theory. Neil deGrasse Tyson, your high priest of scientism, he says he doesn't know what gravity is. And 96% of it's made up with dark matter and dark energy. Here's a tinfoil triangle. We're going to put a negative charge into it, and it goes up. When we keep that negative charge into it, it goes up and it stays up, right? Is it defying gravity or the electrostatic defying the electrostatic charge? Here's a silent drone by MIT, no moving parts. It flies due to electrostatics. Makes no noise, maybe a little hum, but that's it. There's no moving parts and it flies. Okay. Is it defying gravity or is it defying the real technology that they're hiding from us about propulsion? Time zones make absolutely no sense on a globe. That's weird because you draw 24 divide lines, and as the sun moves around, it's noon here, it's noon here, it's noon here. Perfect. Makes sense. These are the time zones. This is how they go from north to south. The problem is, they tell us the sun rays come in parallel, but no one's ever seen parallel rays. They all come in crepuscular because it's a local sun. And we have this, time zone here. So you have all your time zones. This works fine. The problem is when you get to here where the earth is tilted, okay, you got your sun coming in, you got your time zones. So this should all be the same time zone. There's 7 time zones along this line, 7 time zones. So the whole tilt of the earth doesn't work. Time zones work perfectly on a flat earth. This is the Gleason's map, which was in every library, every encyclopedia, in classrooms, and it was removed in the 1950s because they don't want you to see it. This is the map of the world. So I got this area lit up. This is July 8th. And tell us on July 8th that 99% of the population, which is like over 70% of the earth, is in some form of daylight. Well, on a ball, no matter how you spin it or tip it, if there's a single source light, the sun, it would only light up exactly half the ball. How do you light up 70% of the world? It's because it's flat and it works perfectly on a flat earth. Okay. This is day and night from time and day on a flat earth map. This is December and then it goes back to June. This is just a light outside of a dome and it kind of makes the same shapes. Lots to discuss there. So this is, what about photographs of space? So NASA will show us this. This is United States, right? This is South America. Where's the rest of the world? Okay. Let's put it on a map of the world. So we have the whole world and we'll put that in proportion. So this is all that's showing on this. We're looking at half of the globe. Okay. You have to believe that all of this land is on the other side of the globe. All of it is on the other side of the globe. If you can't see that, I'm not sure I can help you. And then they tell us our map is the size of the continents are wrong, that Greenland is actually the size of this darker spot and Africa is bigger and the United States is smaller. But if you take all of these pieces and put them on the flat earth map, they're about the right size. So something's going on there. This is a photograph of Jim Carrey and Morgan Freeman and this guy. One of these is painted. If I told you one of them is painted, could you figure it out? And the answer is they're all painted. So you wouldn't even know. Is this a painting or a photograph? Is this a painting or a photograph? And the answer is it's a painting. So what would be harder to paint, this or this? Okay. I think any of you can paint this because this is painted. This is called the blue marble. It was on everyone's iPhone when they first came out. And I'm spacing on the guy's name. A NASA visual artist, Robert Simon. He did an interview where he said he made it in Photoshop. They gave him data and he created it in Photoshop based on data. Okay. But everyone thinks that this is a photograph of the earth and it's literally made in Photoshop, right? NASA's photo of the Earth from space, 2012, 2013. Look at the United States. What happened? What happened? Okay. And then here again, 2012 versus 2002, United States got bigger. Okay. Maybe we're getting fatter. Maybe they're right. And then here's one. This one is 2017 versus 1978. They said the pollution has really dimmed the planet because this whole pollution thing. And we look at the clouds; they're exactly the same. Okay, they forgot to change the clouds, or they did it on purpose. Okay, well, you're crazy, Dave. If they're doing all this, why would they give themselves away like that? That's a whole nother discussion. But they did it. Okay, these are both from NASA, so you can't believe anything NASA does anymore. Then you'll hear a whole bunch of images of Earth. Which one do you like? I'm kind of a blue marble guy. 2002 picture. We can actually measure across Mexico and Baja and say, all right, this is 934 miles. Well, the diameter of the Earth is 7,900 miles. I should be able to fit 8.5 of these in between these two lines, but I can't. 8.5 goes way off the sheet. Okay. So this proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is not a photo of Earth. So anyone that's saying there's photos of Earth are missing the boat. Speaking of boats, you zoom in, all of a sudden you can see these boats that look like they're over the horizon, but our optics have outgrown their lives. And these waves in the foreground are hiding the boat. It's not over the curve. Watch these boats. Watch this boat. Is it going over the curve, or is it behind a wave that is a mile or two in front of it? Okay. It's behind a wave that's bigger. My finger can't hide my face unless my finger was closer to you, and then it could hide my face. Okay. So this is how perspective works. The swells of the ocean will create an artificial horizon, making things hide in the distance. And when people say, well, I can't see, but you go out here, there's no boat. And as we zoom in, we're increasing the angular size. And as we increase the angular size, all of a sudden you can see, oh, look, there is a boat. Am I zooming over a curve, or am I just bringing you back into your eyes resolution limits? Okay. And again, these little waves in the foreground will block the whole boat and just disappears from the bottom up. So anyone who thinks the boats disappear from the bottom up because of curvature, you're sadly mistaken. Bill Nye has warped your mind. Okay. The ball has a physical requirement of curvature at set distance based on the spherical geometry of the globe of 25,901 miles around, or 24,901. This camera is 1 foot off the ground. At 9.4 miles away, there should be 59 feet of missing rig. 59 feet. That's not arguable. It's not a theory. It's not my math. It's globe math. But not only can we see the rig, we can see the water for dozens of miles beyond it. Earth is flat. Earth is level. Water is contained. People talk about gravity. Gravity makes absolutely no sense, right? You got the Earth holding onto the moon. Okay. We'll talk about the three-body problem in a second. So the Earth is chasing the sun. Okay, so the Earth is going at 66,000 miles an hour. The moon's traveling at 2,000 miles an hour. So if the Earth is going that way, right? So the moon has to be going 66 plus 2, so 68,000 miles an hour. And as the moon goes in front of it, it has to slow down to only go 66,000 miles an hour, or else it'll run away from the Earth. And then when it comes over here, it has to slow down even more, just to maintain, it has to maintain the Earth. And when it goes back here, it has to speed up again. Okay. So when it's here, it has to be 66,000. And then here has to be 68,000. All nonsense, all made up absolute nonsense. Three-body problem. No computer in the world can figure out how to model 3 gravitational bodies, right? This is a simple one. 3 equally sized bodies. Nothing is equally sized in our heliocentric universe. And after a short period of time, the gravities start pulling on each other, and it goes into chaos mode, and no computer can figure out what it's going to do next. That's 3 bodies. Okay. You know how many bodies in our solar system alone, our galaxy, the motions that we're allegedly making are beyond what you can imagine. And that's how they get away with it, because you're unwilling to think about it, because they didn't teach you how to think. Okay. So here is an airplane. This is what you have to believe. Airplanes fly over the Earth. Okay. But it's worse than that, right? They don't just fly like that. The Earth is spinning. Okay. So the airplane would have to be flying in this crazy hexagonal. It looks like it's doing a figure eight here, but as soon as I put a ring on it, showing you that it is flying in a straight line according to the Earth, how is it changing directions? How is it getting its momentum? The Earth is moving 1,000 miles an hour here, but up here, it's only moving 300, 400 miles an hour because it's making a smaller circle. In the North Pole, it's essentially just staying still, right? How is it maintaining these speeds that are, in many cases, greater than the speed an airplane flies, right? When you're flying over the Earth, the stars should precess up. As you're diving down, the stars should precess up, right? That is a physical requirement if you lived on a globe. But here's a plane ride from Germany at night to Brazil, okay? Somewhere South America, where these stars should be precessing up, but they're not. They're just doing their normal spin. Google Earth says this is what your flight should look like. And the stars are precessing up as you're diving over the Earth. The stars in front of you will become the stars over you. Okay. This is what the simulation is, right? This is what they tell you a ball should do, but this is reality. So am I a radical? Because I'm holding science's feet to the fire, right? Here's a pilot. He's looking forward. He sees those stars. He flies over. He now looks forward. He sees different stars. These stars are over his head. Okay. So that's exactly what would happen, but it doesn't happen. Somebody asked how we can fly from Alaska to China. Alaska, China. Very simple. Right. And while we're at it, we got Pearl Harbor. We got Japan to Hawaii. Very simple flight. Here, the southern flights are the problem. Northern flights are almost the same on a globe or a flat Earth, right? But southern flights going from South Africa to Melbourne, Australia, it goes all the way up to Dubai and all the way down. Wait, why didn't it just fly this way, right? It goes all the way up to Hong Kong and down. Why didn't it just fly this way? All the way over to Malaysia and it flies and it goes down. That's the actual flight routes. It goes to these places to refill for fuel. Look at it on a flat Earth map. Makes a lot more sense there. Okay. And we have hundreds and hundreds of flight routes, but here's one from Sydney to Lima, Peru. Goes to California. Wait a minute. Why didn't it just go here? Everybody wants to go to Lima, Peru, but you look at it on a flat Earth map, it's a straight line. Okay. This happens again and again and again and again. Here's 700 miles of view. We can see these mountaintops, and these mountaintops should be over 40 miles below a curve. That balloon shot of the balloon at 20 miles up, that's only 20 miles up. Okay, 127,000 feet, 20 miles, excuse me. It's twice that height, that amount of curvature, but we can see them. Mainstream science will not touch this. They'll just go, oh, those crazy flat earthers, those science deniers. No. We're science users. You guys hijack the scientific method and completely don't use it. So do you see me, or do you see the light that's bouncing off of me? You see the light that's bouncing off of me. So here is this is Mount Canigou from this is a view from Luge, France. 175 miles out is Mount Canigou. You can't see it. The light that's bouncing off of the mountain can't push through to your eyes. Okay. And at this distance, the top of Mount Canigou should be well over a half a mile, closer to a mile below the curve. And so the Globers will say, oh, you can't. But the sun migrates in between the tropics, and twice a year it lines up. And when it does, it lines up. When it goes beyond it, it backlights it, and then you can see it. It's there. You just couldn't see it because light doesn't attenuate forever. And the sun is brighter than the light that's reflecting off the mountain. So again, each one of these things that I show you absolutely 100% proves that we're not on a spinning ball. Here's Antarctica. It's about 13,000 miles around. The last person to try to circumnavigate it was Captain Cook, and he went over 68,000 miles. It took him 3.5 years. Why is that? Well, here's why, because the Earth is set up like this, and this is Antarctica. Look at that for 1 second. I'm just going to grab a power cord. I hate when I do that. Here we go. Power cord. All right, power cord. So this is the Earth. All of our water is surrounded by Antarctica. Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. It keeps our waters contained. Here is the shoreline of Antarctica, the shoreline of a lake. It's the same thing. Okay. It's the same thing. Here is the end of our world, right? This is the shoreline of Antarctica. You can't get anywhere near there. You can go to this little tip, right? And they always like straw manning us. So look, this is the end of, you fall off the end of the earth. Nobody believes this. This is the end of the earth. This is where we're allowed to go. What's out there in the outer space, right? So we found some ships that were in Antarctica that were way inside. Wait, how did a active ship get there? How did an active ship get to 905 miles in from the shoreline? How did a ship get there? And when we looked into them and we found out they're going to some weird places. But if you look at that location of that ship and you put it on this flat earth map that was found in a Buddhist temple, that's 10 centuries old, maybe they're going out here to the outer lands. Okay. Now, what if there was people that lived on this continent, this gigantic continent, right? What would you consider them if they're on the extra territory, extra terra, right? You would consider them an extraterrestrial from the outer space. Okay. Again, you don't need to speculate what's out there to prove the earth is flat. That is an absolute given. And here's what I call, how would you know? What if the world is set up like this? Here we are, America, South America, Africa, Australia. We got our small local sun. And here, this ring is Antarctica. What if there's more lands out here? But what if the controllers did this? They cut it out. They said, okay, you know what? We're gonna take this, we're gonna cut it out, and we're gonna wrap it around a sphere. And we're gonna say, you can't go explore other than this little peninsula right here. No one's allowed to independently explore here because we have to protect the penguins and the ice. Take down the Amazon, that's fine, right? The lungs of our world, but nobody can fly over here. Nobody can go over here, okay? When you want to fly from Santiago to Australia, it goes all the way around the other way. Why is that? Why doesn't it just go around here, okay? And the reason is because this is a prison for your mind. Okay. This stops you from understanding where you are, your place in this world. This stops you from understanding the true power that you have. This stops you from becoming your full potential. And that's what they don't want. They want to separate us. They want to keep us divided. They want us lower in population. And, some of us are willing to question authority. People say you can see the curve of the earth from an airplane. Here's an airplane at 39,000 feet, according to Globe Math. The horizon drop, you should be able to see the horizon at 242 miles away. 1 foot off the ground, it's only 1.2 miles away. 39,000 feet, you should be able to see the horizon 242 miles away. The drop would be 39,000 feet, just happens to be the same number. So there should be a 78,000 foot drop from the horizon. But if you look out the left window and you look out the right window and you draw a line from those horizons, they go right across your eyes. But you have to believe that those horizons are 78,000 feet below you. Okay. Absolutely not. The horizon rises to your eye level. Okay. All construction is done with planar surveying, not the globe surveying. What do they call the other one? I've spaced on me right now. But this is Suez Canal. It's over 100 miles long. There's over a mile of curvature, but they did not account for it. When they built the canal, they did not account for it because it's level, it's flat. It's the same level on both sides. And that's it. I mean, they account for no curvature also. Somebody mentioned snipers. They account for Coriolis. There's one video out there about a sniper saying he accounted for Coriolis. We've spoken to many snipers and they all say they never account for Coriolis. And the world record was just happened the other day. I think it was like 4.5 miles, like earlier this year. And we actually talked to the guy and he said, no Coriolis. The effect for wind, temperature, drop, but not Coriolis. Coriolis is the alleged spin of the earth because there is no spin of the earth. So they never, ever account for it. How much time do we have? It's 46. I have another 5 minutes.
You have 9 minutes.
9 minutes. All right. We're doing good. So this is, someone said, well, all the water in space creates a circle. That's a trick on the ISS. Okay. That's a trick. So here is Chris Hadfield. He's got a wet washcloth and he's wringing it out. Now, if you watch this whole video, edit. It literally, it's a whole bunch of edits. And what it is he's on a 0G plane like these guys. So this person's on a 0G plane. It's a plane that does a hyperbolic arc and you get like 30 seconds of weightlessness. So this guy's supposedly on the space station. These guys are on a 0G plane. It looks like remarkably the same. So one of the ways they fool us being in space is they show us 0G planes clips of zero-G planes. Then they also do wires. They also do CGI. They do a whole bunch of things. But if you compare a zero-G plane to the International Fake Station, you'll see the deception. It's unbelievable. On the space station, whoops, why isn't that going? So this is a ball filled with helium, just the right amount of helium where it's neutrally buoyant. Look right here. That's fake. This is called augmented reality. Watch again. There's nothing there, and now there's a stuffed toy there, and she's talking to kids. She's brainwashing kids. This is called augmented reality. This is a consumer version, and you can do stuff in real time, and that's what NASA's doing. We catch them all of the time. I could do a whole hour. I could do hours on stuff. They're always flipping something around, and in the background, this guy goes floating by. He's way in the background. So I zoomed in on this guy, and look, I could see the harness and the wires. The layer didn't get washed, that didn't get taken out. Okay, so this guy's hanging from a wire. And you know what they say about this? Oh, well, they use wires for safety. How do you hang from a wire in zero gravity? And the other thing is, this guy in his script is supposed to hand his hat to this guy, but he moves this hand. This guy thinks he's passing him the imaginary hat, and he puts it away. Okay, so we catch them all the time. We have hundreds and hundreds. Somebody said laser experiment in Behind the Curve. Behind the Curve on Netflix is a hit piece. Okay, we had a laser experiment. We had three holes in boards over 3 miles, and we're supposed to, if we can go through all three, it would prove that the Earth is flat, and if we couldn't, it would prove the Earth is a globe. The problem was lasers spread out. We had a condenser on the laser. The laser melted before we could even use it. The whole thing melted, and we couldn't use it. So we're like, let's just try it with a light, and we held the light, and we said, he said, I can't see the light. He says, hold the light higher, and he held the light higher, and he goes, oh, I can see it now. And the Jaron, the guy who was doing the test, he goes, interesting, and that's where they cut the movie. That's where they cut the movie right there. Here's what they didn't tell you. When he brought it back down, he could see it all of a sudden. And the other thing is, if the Earth was curved, he'd have to lift that light up 27 feet, okay, for him to be able to see the light. But he lifted it, 3 feet, okay? So they literally, it's a hit piece. It's just to make non-thinkers believe that they prove that the Earth is a curve. But never in the movie did they actually say that. People said, someone's asked, there's no edge to the Earth. If you travel straight in any direction, you'll end up back where you are. That is absolutely 100% not true. Okay. And circumnavigation only happens east and west. Here's a magnet. Here's a compass, right? The needle's pointing towards the north. Now I'm trying to push this compass to the west, and I have to keep turning. I have to keep correcting to the north. I have to keep correcting to the north to maintain my heading of west. So I can leave here, head west, and come right back here. And then if I go the other way, I'm going east. I can leave New York. I can go all the way around over China, Japan, and come all the way back. Now, if I try to dead reckon in a straight direction, so that's west. I got the needle pointing towards the center. I'm heading west. Watch what happens. If I don't correct to the north, I'm heading south immediately. South is every direction away from north. Okay. South is that way. South is that way. All of these lines are going south. Nobody has ever circumnavigated the Earth heading south. They've only done it east and west, right? And if you look at Amelia Earhart, here she went west, 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 and she's right back to where she was. This is what Amelia Earhart did. Okay, she's not on a spinning ball. She went around. That's it. So why would they lie? They don't want you to know that we are in this abundant world. That there's more land, there's more technology, there's free energy. They're literally trying, and they clearly stated they want us completely controlled. Look into Agenda 2030, which now is accelerated to Agenda 2025. You'll be shocked. Look into the book, The Great Reset by Klaus Schwab. If you haven't heard his name, you don't know what's going on in the world. It's all about controlling the human mind. So that's it. FlatEarthDave.com. I'd really like to talk to you guys for a couple of hours on a Zoom call over a weekend or whatever, and let you guys ask me any questions you want, because once you see it, you can't unsee it.
All right, Dave, you ready for questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Dave. I'm glad you came in today. So if the Earth was flat like this, let's just say this is a circle for questioning sake, right? And the moon is going around like this.
Yep.
You'd say, right? What stops the moon from just going off away? So looking at the lights in the sky and thinking that you know anything about them is
is an assumption. I don't even believe that the moon is a physical object, the moon that we see. We live in the toroidal field where the energy comes out of the center, comes around, look into toroids, and that entire system's spinning. The sun, the stars spin above us, the sun and the moon spin above us. Everything rises in the east, sets in the west. It just goes in a circle like that. So what causes the sun to migrate in between the tropics? I don't know. I can't tell you. I know. But we can prove that the sun speeds up when it goes out over the Tropic of Capricorn and it slows down over the Tropic of Cancer, because in June, everyone has longer periods of light after sunset. And then in December, everywhere in the world, everyone has a faster sunset to darkness. If the Earth was a globe, it would be reciprocal, longer in the summer, shorter in the winter, longer in the summer, shorter in the winter. But it's not. So again, this is a lot to take in. It's a longer conversation, but there's your answer.
Thank you.
Hi. So I was watching a podcast that you were on, and you mentioned that you believe that the Earth is, I believe you said that it was made by intelligent life. What, or I guess who specifically do you think created the Earth?
Well, I'm not sure if you understood what I was saying. I said that the Earth is intelligently designed. That's not a theory. It's
No, that's what.
it's intelligently designed. So there's a creator. That's all I say. That's all I know. It's built. Like if you walk up to a building, a modern building, you know that there's a builder. It didn't just happen after a random Big Bang. This world is intelligently designed. I'm not telling you who designed it, because how would I know? Okay. It's intelligently designed. We're at the center of creation. Now, if you want to say God created it, that's up to you. Okay. But this world is intelligently designed, and there's no way to disprove that. The people that are running this world, they don't want you in a situation where you can deny creation. They want you believing in the Big Bang. They want you believing in dinosaurs. They want you believing in evolution. They want you believing in a lot of nonsense, right? But when you look deeper and actually hold science's feet to the fire, then you can actually see the reality. Some people think, oh, this is crazy. Well, why is it crazy? Why has nobody collected my 3 Bitcoins for one globe proof? There's just one globe proof. If we live in the ball, you should be able to do it. But every accredited scientist throughout time that's done experiments to prove the spin of the Earth or the curvature of the Earth has failed miserably and proven the opposite. But they don't teach you that in school. Michelson and Morley experiment, the Aries failure experiment, the Bedford Level experiment, all of these experiments have proven the opposite, but they don't teach you about them in school.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dave, that was our bell. If you're willing to take one more question, we can send this crew off.
Go.
One more.
What do you think about Newton's theory of universal gravitation, and that gravity gets stronger or weaker with its distance to an object?
Well, the whole gravitational, they switched Einsteinian gravity, the warping and bending of space-time, which nobody knows what it means. But Newtonian gravity is obviously provably wrong. It's 96% wrong. You have to make up dark matter and dark energy. And things change their rate of falling during electrical storms. So how does gravity account for that? And the whole gravitational model, as I showed you with the 3-body problem, how come when we have a planetary alignment, everything doesn't get yanked out of shape? There's no way to model it, but in an electrostatic world, everything works perfectly. On my app, I have an app. It's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. You can find it at flatearthdave.com. There's a What About Gravity section. There's a What About Southern Flight section. There's all sorts of stuff. But here's the thing. When you Google Flat Earth, you're not going to find anything but propaganda. You're not going to find my good interviews. You're going to find ones where they have, complete idiots, screaming at me and stuff. You're not going to find the good videos. But in your YouTube history, you can search for any video you watch. Watch a whole bunch of my Flat Earth videos, good Flat Earth videos, and then search your history. They won't show up. Search your history for Flat Earth. They're hidden. Why is that the only topic that's hidden from your history? Okay. They're hiding the truth, because once you discover the truth, they lose control over you.
Okay. All right, Dave, any final thoughts for this crew?
Final thoughts is, don't believe anything I say. Take the time and learn. It'll change your life forever. And good luck. FlatEarthDave.com. There's some great videos there. Turn off Netflix for a week. Watch the videos in the crash course. Thanks.
All right. Well, it's always great when the bell rings and the kids are not hopping up to leave. So you had their attention.
All right, man. Thanks.